So I got the deads today. Top singles. I'm gonna be doing this conventionally. Number one, because I'm curious, you know, and I like giving into the curiosity, you know, like I have not pulled conventional in like a fucking year now. You know what I mean? Unless it's to like lift weight back into the rack. So I'm curious to see what I could hit now. Like it'd be really interesting if like somehow I could still hit more than what I've, like my old max used to be for conventional, you know what I mean? And then also, yesterday I was not expecting to do singles. I thought it was the week of threes, you know, 3x3s. So I'm still in that mentality of like, we don't need to do singles today. So because of that, I don't really feel like pushing heavy shit. So when I do conventional, I won't have to go as heavy, not as much on the line because like I don't pull conventional. And then the last reason is just because like a lot of people are curious about my conventional like PR, like what I can pull. So I'm giving into their curiosity as well. I mean, there's one motherfucker that I saw who commented who thinks my conventional PR is fucking 135. Like unironically, this dude actually thinks, like as part of his argument that he was making for whatever, he was like legit convinced that I only pull 135 conventionally. So we're also doing this for him. So I guess no expectations today. We just have to make sure we can pull more than 135. But now I'm like kind of hyped, to be honest. Like I literally have not pulled conventional fucking years, so. Or I guess hype is the wrong word. I'm more like super curious, you know? Like I wonder if like, cause you know, people seem to think that like sumo is just like a whole different lift than conventional, you know what I mean? And it is, you know what I mean? It's like a different stance, but like, I think like motherfuckers think like one does not translate at all to the other, you know what I mean? Like that it's just like two like super different things, you know? So I'm curious to see like if any of it translates to conventional strength, which would mean like if I'm pulling, like if I still hit a conventional PR, and that means that like sumo somewhat translates to fucking conventional, you know, because if it were two like completely different cases, right, then like I would lose all my strength on conventional because I haven't been doing it, you know? So I'm curious to see if it's like one or the other, you know, like if it translates somewhat to the point where I could still hit a conventional PR, or if they really are just like completely different lifts, you know what I mean? And like I just lose all my gains on fucking conventional. We passed the first test, which is 135. We hit that shit for 3. So that means that we have at least proven, like even if we like max out at 225, we at least proven to Mr. Man on Instagram that we can deadlift 135. I think I'd actually have to go over 135 because he thinks the max is 135. So this is like the moment of truth, like the big lift. I'm nervous. Like if we can't get this, that means Mr. Man was actually right. No, like I'm hyped. We've proven that our max isn't just 135. Like that's cool. That's cool. One thing is for certain though, like I definitely feel that shit like more in my back than I do like with sumo, I'm feeling it in my, like, I don't know, just like legs a lot more, but like conventional, like I'm still driving with the legs, you know, treating it as a push movement, but I can't help but feel it just more in my back, you know? And then also part of it, like I said, like I haven't done this in like a year, so I'm still trying to like do my best with this warm up to like feel out my best positioning for conventionals. Obviously, I'm not gonna be able to like fully get used to conventional in like one session, but I'm trying to feel it out as much as I can so I can have as much comfort as possible once I start getting to like that heavyweight. And actually this might be like the heavyweight range. I mean, like it is only 405, you know? Not to like brag or anything, but I've benched this. But now on a serious note, even though it is 405, could be heavy when we are pulling conventional. So I think I am gonna take the extra measure and chalk up. Yeah, if anything, it's just like, it's just awkward, you know what I mean? Like I just have not pulled in that position in so fucking long. So I think like the next two warm-ups, if we can get past the awkwardness and, you know, get it somewhat together, we should be able to at least pull like mid 500s, I think. I don't think like 600, you know, that'd be kind of crazy, but I think at the very least, like mid 500s. So as I recall, the most I've ever done conventional, not sumo, the most I've ever done conventional is about 475. And this is 495. I could have done another warm up, you know what I mean? But I didn't feel like it. I'd rather just like fucking slap on another 45 because it's less work, you know, instead of doing the math, you know what I mean? It's just like one plate, you know, and instead of getting a bunch of like fucking 25s, 10s, I mean, you just slap on like one little cookie, you know what I mean? So we decided to just make the jump to 495. This will be a what? 75, 85, 95, 20 pound max from my last conventional max. And we're gonna do it beltless because we're just like that. That felt a lot more rough than I thought it would. It's just like, dude, like, I wouldn't say they're completely different lifts to where like, you know, like you can just never do conventional again, you know, and just only pull sumo and then just lose like all your gains on conventional. Because if that were the case, I wouldn't have been able to just like add 20 pounds onto the conventional max. But I will say that they definitely are pretty fucking different. I mean, you're just kind of like pulling a majority with different muscles, you know what I mean? So like when I'm pulling sumo, right, it's like mostly legs, you know what I mean? Like the only time I'm just feeling it in my back is when I'm locking out. But when I'm pulling conventional, oh bro, I feel that shit in my back as soon as I fucking start pushing off the ground. You know what I mean? So it's more so of like, you know, like obviously, you know, sumo, majority legs, but you're still using your back for that lockout. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to just figure out how to word it. It's like, I wouldn't say they're just like completely different, you know what I mean? But they are pretty fucking different at the same time. But hey, 20-pound increase to the max for a conventional. I think I'm gonna go up. I think I'm gonna look back at how that moved and then decide, you know, what I wanna go up to from here. We decided to go up to the 545. And I have no idea how this is gonna move. But you know what they say, the universal law when it comes to the gym, either it does or it doesn't. I don't think so. I do not think so.
In audio.
Yeah, judging by how that, even pulling that sumo felt, I think if we even like tried with that conventional, it like was not gonna move, you know? Maybe like an inch, but that's just from pulling the slack out, you know? Like pull the slack out and that little jump would have been about as far as that bar would have moved if we actually attempted that. But, you know, slight 495, I'll take it, you know, for not having done conventional in a year. But in all, it's hard for me to say that like it'd be really easy for you to say like, oh, well, yeah, sumo confirmed way easier because, you know, we just pulled the 545 and, you know, didn't even feel comfortable enough, wouldn't even budge it with conventional. But like, you have to look at the facts. I've been pulling sumo for like a fucking year. I haven't done conventional in a year. So that would actually be crazy if I was pulling as much, if not more, than conventional. You know what I mean? But even then, without pulling a year, we still got 495. Like, they're different in their own ways, positional wise, right? I mean, with sumo, like I said, I'm only feeling it in my back, you know, as I'm locking out. But for fucking conventional, I'm feeling that shit more in my back, you know, as soon as I start pushing off the ground. Like, yes, like, you're using like a majority of different muscle groups, but I don't think they're different in a way where one is just inherently easier than the other. I think it just matters what you practice, you know, how long you've been practicing it for, your proportions, you know what I mean? Like your strong points, like if you're like way stronger in your legs than you are on your back, like sumo's gonna be the play for you. You know, if it's the opposite, then conventional is gonna be the play for you. So I don't think they're different in that way, but yeah, you know, like I can say that they're different enough to where like, you know, like it's definitely confirmed that you're definitely using more back when you're pulling conventional. And in sumo, you're definitely using like more legs, but that's just my little synopsis for today. And I have satisfied my curiosity. So that's good enough for me.